Hello, it's day 27. Wow, days just keep flying by. So I guess that's just life. But at least at least I'm taking a second to stop and pay attention to what I'm doing, where I'm going, those kind of things, instead of just riding that endless cycle, that endless doldrum. But that's not really what I want to talk about today. It's just I guess I'm kind of looking forward to the first month is coming up here in just a few days, so it's going to be kind of nice to just take stock of what I've accomplished, what I've achieved over the course of that month. I really feel like I kind of need some kind of catalyst with what I'm doing with the business. It's still it's intriguing to me that when I began this 27 days ago, the first day I mentioned I have no idea what I'm doing or what I want to do. I just knew that I wanted to get in shape and I wanted to start my own business, but I had no plan for a business. And since then, I've as far as the weight loss goes, it's like that kind of has taken over more than the business has in some regards. I think that's something that I have more grasp, more control over. But it's also something that the diet and the eating, that's something that's changed inside me. As I mentioned in the video yesterday, foods that I used to crave less than a month ago, now when they're mentioned, they actually sound awful and give me a sense of physical illness. It's interesting. I say it's interesting a lot, but it is. Things are very interesting. But I had a situation quite a few years ago. I was in the wrong line of work, and the people that I was working with, we went out drinking almost every night. Every night. It wasn't an almost thing. It was every night. Just got to the point where that's all I knew. It was 2 or 3 years of really hard living that I went through. I never want to say I was an alcoholic, but there was a point where I wanted to stop drinking and I couldn't. It was that, so I guess it's, in some ways I went through what alcoholics have to deal with. And I remember that what took it away from me, what was going on was I would drink to the point of not knowing who I was or where I was, what some people might refer to as a blackout. And then I would do things I would have no control over, or no sense of control over what I was doing. And then I'd wake up the next day and someone would tell me, do you remember doing this? You did that. And it was just things that I couldn't be proud of. And to digest that, the things that I did became, it was so hard. I'd wake up and just immediately beat myself up. What did I do? What did I do? And then I'd find out, and it'd be even worse. I'd carry that with me through the day, and then I'd go right into drinking again to kind of alleviate some of that. And then the same thing would happen. The same cycle would happen. I would drink way too much and forget who I was and where I was, and then I would do something really dumb. And it was just a horrible cycle I was in. It may have even been more than 3 years. When I look back on it, I don't want to make it sound worse than it was, but I don't want to make light of it either. But I might be sugarcoating it a little bit. It was a pretty ugly part of my life. But the thing that took it away from me was when I finally had that desire in me, and when I finally reached out. I can kind of remember. I don't remember the specifics of it, but I remember I was in a living room in a small condominium that I was renting, and nobody else was there, and I just remember just breaking down. At one point I'd reached out to my brother, who I've never been super close with. He's a great guy. We just kind of, as things go, and it's something I'd like to have a stronger relationship with him. Perhaps that'll be something I can work on over the course of this year. But I remember reaching out to him, feeling like I was actually physically and mentally sick, like I really needed help. I didn't have any kind of health insurance at the time, didn't have any money, and when I realized, I kind of I realized that wasn't going to be any the help that I needed. He wasn't in a position to provide any help. I don't know if he even understood what I was going through and the way that I reached out to him. But anyway, not too far after that, a few days or maybe a week after that, I remember just kind of losing my mind. And I was sitting in the living room, and the little bit that I remember, I'd been drinking, and I I screamed out to the ether. And I don't even know if I really screamed, but I know that, mentally I must have been screaming, as loud as I possibly could. But I kind of vaguely remember that I actually did physically scream as well. I was like, take this away from me, I want this to end. I don't want this as part of my life. Just make this stop. That's just a super strong desire and a super strong communication. And the funny thing was, that I don't remember if it was exactly the next day. I can't remember exactly how the timing went, but right after that, I would have a drink, 2 drinks, and I would get physically ill, almost instantaneously. What used to take 7, 8, or 9 beers worth of intoxication, I would become intoxicated with just 1 or 2. Literally that quickly, and then I would feel physically ill, and I couldn't do it, and it got to the point where my body just wouldn't allow me to drink, and it was such an amazing metamorphosis. I don't know, to this day I have no explanation for it. And I never went to a doctor, never went to see what was going on. I just know that that's what happened. I had this huge desire, and I called out, begged and pleaded, and the ether answered. But that's kind of, I guess, I didn't even expect to really be talking about that in this video, but it's a part of my life, and as I said, I want to kind of try to be honest with myself. Making these videos, not something I'm ashamed of by any means. We all go through different things, and we learn from those things, and it's something that I definitely learned from. Mistakes were made, I'm very grateful that I made it through. I survived those times, and there were some good times in those times too. I don't want to make light of that either. Things that I probably wouldn't enjoy now. I was much younger, a different frame of mind. But I went through that. But anyway, what it kind of alludes to was the first day I started making this video, I really had no idea what I wanted to do. I just knew that I wanted something. I wanted something to invest myself and my time. I knew it was going to be a business, and I didn't have any plan, and then the very next day someone came to me with an idea that I've since been running with, and that person's kind of fallen by the wayside. If I encouraged him to do this with me. I didn't really speak about what my plans were with the videos and with my my 1 year of progress and the quest that I'm on or anything like that. I really didn't go into that. I just kind of encouraged him, hey, I'm going to do this. If you're really interested, I need your energy too. However, that person is just kind of dissolved, which is fine. Not a judgment thing, but it's like, here, the ether gave it to me, and then it's mine. It's mine to run with. So today's gonna be a big day. Meeting up with a guy, fingers crossed, as long as nothing comes up here at my work, I'm gonna be meeting up with him about 6:30. And I don't really know that I'm going to talk too much about the business. I have this thing where I have this, it's a concept that I have that's a little bit different. It's a business idea, business plan that's already out there, and people are already doing it, and they're successful with it. But what I want to do has a little twist to it, and I don't know if I'm so comfortable with sharing my idea. I've got like kind of a mixed conflict with that, whether I should just go in and just be completely honest with this person and say, this is what I want to do. What are your thoughts on it? What can you help me out with? And just put the idea out there and risk someone else taking that idea. But what it really comes down to is if I do it correctly, if I do it with the right amount of quality and care that I want, that I know I intend to do it with some of the marketing ideas that I have, and I think I'll be safe, because even if somebody else starts a similar business, I still have the drive and the image. The image is that's a personal thing that can't be taken away unless I go into full disclosure and then full detail on it. But I'm going to meet with him. I'm not sure how long he's been running his business. Find out what I'm curious to see what he went through, how things are going, what kind of insights he has, what he can help me with as far as opening mine. And as I said, I don't know much about this guy at all. Just a quick little email banter back and forth. but I haven't spoken with him on the phone. I haven't, anything like that. I don't really know what to expect. And another thing that confuses me, I'm not sure why he's volunteering his time. I mean, obviously I asked for it, but it's one of those things that hopefully that's something that I will learn over the course of this year. I hear a lot of it of give as much as you want to receive kind of thing. And that's a weakness on my point. I'm not big on donating. I'm not big on helping people out. It's just one of my things that I know that it's a weakness. It's something that I'm not good at. It's not a focal point that I have right now. It's something that I would like to have. I would like to. I understand the goodness that comes from that, the inner goodness that comes from that. But sometimes when I experience it, it's a question mark to me. This gentleman's going to be helping me out, and I don't know. In some ways, I could even be a competition for him. However, he's willing to sit down and take his time and talk with me. So, kind of cool. Hopefully, he's a good guy. I anticipate he must be in order to do this for me, for a complete stranger. As far as he knows, I could just be some wacko off the street that has an idea and has nothing else, but just something very simple. But I'll meet with him tonight. That should be very, very interesting, and I'm hoping that that's kind of the catalyst. I'm hoping that sparks the the communication, or at least puts me in the right direction, so I know how I need to go attacking this business. There's so many different facets and so many different sides. Right now I've been kind of resting on my laurels. I know that I'm not going to be completely ready to start investing into it until going into the winter. I want the business to be up and running during the spring. I feel like the spring will be kind of a peak time of the year for this specific type of business, and I would like to start it off going into that season, maybe even just pre-spring, just so slightly before spring. And then go, trying to build a clientele so that as I go into winter, the clientele is already established, they're already familiar with the concept, the product, and hopefully, the winter won't have a big effect on us. But anyway, not sure if there's much more right now. Just day 27, thinking about taking stock here in a month of what I've done, what I've accomplished, where I've grown, and then get ready for the second month. And I really want to get that started where it just feels like a snowball that's just rolling down a mountain, just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and just till it's I still feel I'm in that little pebble stage, that small little thing. I'm nowhere near the avalanche, but I know the avalanche will come. It's very close, and it's a matter of being ready for the avalanche too. I understand that when I've done this before, the ether responds, but it knows not to overwhelm a person, and until they're ready to be overwhelmed. And I'm real close to being ready to be overwhelmed, but taking it step by step, still getting everything in line. So, but anyway, day 27. Hey, what are you doing today? That's it. So, hey, what are you doing today?